Hi everybody. How is it going on this fine Saturday evening? I'm going to be doing some video editing today for the Monkey Island video that I have been slaving over for a few weeks. I've got a bit of a quarantine stubble going on, so please excuse that. It's just going to be like a really chill, like, sort of quiet stream. So spoilers then. I mean, spoilers, yes, but at the same time, this video is so long that you're only really going to see like a small fraction of it in this stream. So yeah, it's a really long video. So if you're bothered about spoilers, then I don't mind if you want to drop out, but you probably won't see a huge amount. How's everybody doing? Almost 30-year-old spoilers. Yeah. Spoilers for the game and spoilers for the video itself, like jokes and stuff. I didn't know which one we were going for there. Alright. Okay. Now that we got that out the way, let's just switch this over to this, which is the current setup I've got for editing things. It's just pretty much a recording on my screen, and I should probably close this. Don't need that open. Yeah, and I've got my script on hand if I need it. So the highlights mean something. I've explained this in other editing streams before, but basically how I operate is I kind of have like I've got like a thing where like to sort of work on the. I've created a separate document called the progress highlights. Progress highlights just basically means I highlight what I've finished and what I still need to work on. And it kind of helps me to see how far along the process I am and what I still need to do and stuff. So if something's in green, that means it's pretty much done. If something's in a dark yellow, it means it's like it's laid out, but it needs like visuals. So it's like it's nearly done. If something's red, it means I've cut it out. I've actually cut out a significant section here because I didn't think it was necessary. If something's in a more pale yellow, it means that I've got the lines recorded. They just need to be put in place. So, confusing system? I don't know. Maybe it works for me. It's my system, and it's only really meant for my eyes. So, but that's the basic explanation if you want to know what's going on with the highlights. So basically, I'm working on the audio at the moment. So where we're at is here. I've laid out the audio for about just under 10 minutes. This is stuff I've put in place, but I haven't like sort of condensed, taken out the gaps and stuff. I've just kind of cut them and laid them out. So I've put like a little marker here to show where I need to work from. But in the meantime, this voiceover here is all the voiceover that covers part 1 of Secret Monkey Island. This is the voiceover that covers part 2, and this is the voiceover that covers part 3. And this is the voiceover that covers part 4 and the conclusion to the video. As you can see, the part that covers part 1 is the longest because part 1 of The Secret of Monkey Island is like over half the game. And then part 2, 3, and 4 pretty much happen in a much more quick fashion. The 3 trials take a long time. Like quite a while. Anyway, so we are working from here. Let's take a look at the script. So I'm pretty sure I've already done this actually. I might be a bit behind on my highlights. Hold on. What's this? Stuff with a skull cauldron. Skull cauldron. Oh yeah, no, I'm a bit further along than this actually. I need to highlight. Actually, because I haven't. You know what? It's because I haven't finished lining it up yet. There's 3 shades of yellow. Completely forgot about that. All right. Yep. Right. This is where we're at actually. So. Alright, we're on page 8 of 40. So you got quite a bit to lay out. This video is going to take a long time to make. Hi, Monster Bug, and how are you doing? I don't know when this video will be done. I'd like it to be done by the end of the month. I don't know if I'm going to achieve that. Either way, I'm gonna work hard on it. I'm also writing another video, so you know, even if this one takes a while to come out, there'll be one shortly after that as well. So, all right. So let's have a look at where we are with this.
The town also contains a shop, a jail, a church, and the governor's mansion, which is guarded by ravenous piranha poodles.
Yeah, it sure is. That's probably fine. I think it's peaking the audio there slightly, but I can kind of just drag the audio down on that specific segment and it'll sound okay.
Because of course it is.
That was an ad lib, I think. Just to see if it would... Nah, it's not necessary. Sometimes I like do ad libs while I'm recording voiceover. And sometimes they work, and then sometimes I go, nah, that's not necessary actually. I can see why I didn't include that in the script. But either way, it means I've got it just to hand if I need to use it, so... Ad-libs... they're a thing.
All of these places will become relevant in due time.
Indeed. So this is the kind of segment of the video I'm kind of introducing everything that's in the melee area, in the town, I mean, which will all be useful in the 3 trials. So, advanced. Video editing is an area you haven't gotten yourself into. Yeah, I don't think video editing is actually that hard, but then again, I have done it for like, probably around, over 10 years, I'd say. Yeah, it will be over 10 years. All right, that's certainly good to know, isn't it?
Oh, and a bald guy called Festus Shinetop calls into an alley to casually threaten us.
Yeah. Festus Shinetop. So that's this segment. And video editing is more tedious than difficult. Yeah, it pretty much is. It's like it's not necessarily like a difficult thing to do. It's just everything takes so much time. And like even like a 10 like 15-minute video, you're going to put like multiple hours into. If not more, depending on how involved the editing is. All right. So we need a clip of Festus Shinetop doing this casual threatening thing. Ah, this is it. So, it's the when he's going psst first. Okay. So this is what that part is in the game. It's completely silent, and then you hear like, psst. Yeah.
Hello?
So we want this clip. We'll clean it up later, but
Hello?
just kind of want the general clip.
Anybody in here?
And then there's just like, yeah.
Hello?
You know, bad things could happen to a person in a dark, deserted alley like this one. And at this time of night, nobody would be around to see it.
Yeah, this is the version of the game that I'm playing, by the way, which is it's called the Ultimate Talkie Edition of Monkey Island. It's so quiet you could easily isolate those VA takes. I mean, true. I'm not sure if it's the same in the special edition version specifically. I think it's just because this is a version that's pretty much like the 256 color CD version of the game merged with a special edition voiceover. So, and the original like sort of one doesn't have any like ambience in some places. It's really eerily quiet. The ambience is good, and they've taken some of the ambience, I think, but otherwise it's pretty quiet. And that's kind of a thing about Monkey Island 1, and it can be quite quiet in a few places. And Monkey Island 2 onward, there's like music in every single area of the game, like a unique theme. Not in this one. Okay. Looking at the order of this, I could probably just move this clip up here. Alright. I'm just going to pop this. Yeah, all point and clicks could be very quiet at times. Depending on the game, though, they can quite often have music with them. Alright. So let's just move this out here. And then that's the shine top. Right.
He's the sheriff around these parts, but do we trust him? Well, if you've got the special edition voiceover, he might just sound a little bit familiar.
Yeah, Professor Shinetop is voiced by Earl Bone. Earl Bone, of course, is the voice of LeChuck, because Professor Shinetop is LeChuck. It gets revealed later on. It's interesting because, like, obviously, Secret Monkey Island didn't initially have voice acting, so being able to kind of clock that LeChuck is Fester is something that is a lot easier in this version of the game compared to, like, you know, the original no-voiced version. So, pretty cool. So that's Melee Town. All right, and I need a camera clip now. I'm not cutting out all the gaps right now. I'll do that once I get to actually, like, clean up. I'm trying to get through part 1 first, and then I'll lay out. Once I've finished part 1, I'll make sure it's all, like, sort of condensed up, and yeah, and then I'll work on part 2. I'm kind of, like, treating each sort of segment as their own, like, miniature video. Although this one will probably be like a full-length video. Just because it's easier in my head to kind of compartmentalize it that way. I don't know. a lot of my process is just, well, it works for me. So, all right. So what is the line we need? It's so that's Melee Town, and with all that covered, let's get back to the trials themselves. So let's see if I get this right on the first try.
So that's Melee Town, and with all that covered, let's get back to the trials themselves.
That's actually not bad.
So that's Melee Town, and with all that covered, let's get back to the trials.
Slightly different take on the line, still fine.
So that's Melee Town, and with all that covered, let's get back to the trials.
These are all, like, completely fine. I should invest in a better camera soon, I think. Well, maybe not just a better camera, but maybe, like, lighting equipment and stuff. And I have a decent shotgun mic, but it doesn't, like, cooperate well with my camera, so you can still hear a bit of audio hiss. It's better than the default audio on my camera, though, so...
So that's Melee Town.
Because that was a slight mess up. All right. One of these. I'll have a look through the text and see which one's best.
So that's Melee Town, and with all that covered, let's get back to the trials.
Folding my arms. Ooh, sassy.
So that's Melee Town, and with all that covered, let's get back to the...
Wow, now that's some extra that's an extra level of sass. The glasses adjustment with 2 hands. Wow. That was smooth. Let's watch that again.
So that's Melee Town, and with all that covered, let's get back to the trials.
That was very smooth. I don't even know if I want to use that because it's really weird and goofy, but I'm not really much of one for video feedback, Dr. Med. I'm just kind of I'm could I what kind of video is it? Because I remember getting a message recently when I edited something, and I got sent a kill montage, and I've never done a kill montage. It's not really my wheelhouse. So this is a video game review that I'm editing here, and I'm not sure that I can really help you, because video game reviews, they're not really that, like, you can send the link. Could you just tell me what it is? I can help you if I know what it is, because I might be able to. Although I'm not really sort of giving out advice anyway. I don't know what I could say. You grew a meme page. Okay. I do a few video memes, but again, mostly I do reviews, and I don't know. Maybe another time. So I've got 4 takes here. Let's see which one we want to go with. So this is the first take.
So that's Melee Town, and with all that covered, let's get back to the trials themselves.
See, they're kind of like, the way I end that one isn't quite right. I kind of like prepare to do another take immediately, so I don't want to use that one.
So that's Melee Town, and with all that covered, let's get back to the trials.
That one's okay.
So that's Melee Town, and with all that covered, let's get back to the trials.
That one's okay as well.
So that's Melee Town, and with all that covered, let's get back to the trials.
It's okay.
So that's Melee Town, and with all that covered, let's get back to the trials.
See, I'm not sure if I want to keep that sort of bizarre two-hand glasses flourishing. Like, it's...
$1.99? Was that too naturalistic?
Thank you, Unicune, for the $1.99. Late Easter wishes, Tom Baker screams, so we all say thank you. Thank you very much for the 199 bits. Always appreciated.
That's Melee Town, and with all that covered, let's get back to the trials.
Should I keep the glasses thing in? Or is that like just too weird? I don't actually know. I feel like if I was editing on by myself, I probably would go, I don't know, and just use one of the other more generic ones, but there's like a visual flourish to this.
Melee Town, and with all that covered, let's get back to the trials.
Alright. If you guys like it, I will keep it. If anything, it'll prompt more comments anyway. Which means the video does better. You know, you kind of got to think of it that way, I guess. Be a little bit strange. You never know. It might work out for you. Embrace my sassy persona. Alright, so... So I'll start with sword fighting and... Alright.
I'll let you make your own judgments. See if you can guess who it is.
Oh, that's an ad-libbed line. It's not necessary. Again, one of those ad-lib ones that just kind of thought of on the spot and threw in there. So this is going to be...
I'll start with sword fighting since it's probably one of the most iconic parts of this game. And Guybrush needs a couple things beforehand. A sword and lessons in how to use it.
Yeah, that's fine. Sword and lessons in how to use it. Okay.
First up, the sword. You can find this quite simply in the town's general store.
Yep.
Owned by a very ornery shopkeeper.
It sure is.
Owned by a very ornery shopkeeper.
Actually, I like that second take better.
The only problem is, well, once again, we don't have the money to buy it. The only problem is, well, once again, we don't have the money to buy it.
So there's two different takes there. One of them is a little bit more drawn out, but the other one's pretty much just straight to the point.
The only problem is, well, once again, we don't have the money to buy it.
I don't know if it needs to be that long.
The only problem is, well, once again, we don't have the money to buy it.
I think the second one. I genuinely think, even though like that first one is completely fine, and if it was the only take I had, I would use it. It just, you know, it's like saves like a couple seconds. Don't want to waste people's time. It's one of those lines that I don't think needs to be drawn out at all. There's no really real dramatic effect to it. It's just pretty much we don't have money, and that doesn't really need like a slower delivery, I don't think.
And that brings me pretty nicely to this, the island map.
Ooh, the island map.
This shows everywhere you can go on the island. It's not just the town.
Brilliant. I've got to get... Actually, we've got to insert this shopkeeper line and a bit of a live action take. Anyone who's not aware, by the way, bold segments in the script are live action bits. It's just a really clean way for me to kind of distinguish it from the other bits of the script. So like something that's in bold, I know is like a bit I do on camera, and something not in bold is voiceover. And something in square brackets is usually a clip from something else, or a bit of gameplay, or like a stage direction. It's just kind of stuff that's not necessarily part of the script, but would be there. So, just helps me. Again, it's all my process. Works for me, so I don't need to change the way I do it.
Go on the island. It's not just the town.
Oh yeah, anyway. So there's... Start with sword fighting, ran by a very ornery shopkeeper. That's what we need to go up to.
Have the money to buy it.
Yeah.
Shopkeeper.
Alright, so that's only up to here, actually. And then we need to click from the shopkeeper, who... Actually, is slightly before... Slightly before the bit where we meet Festa, so... So what's a good clip for this? Ah, here we go. This would be a good one.
That's 100 pieces of 8. Take it or leave it.
I don't want it.
Figures. Now, how else do you want to waste my time?
I'll probably just say the how else do you want to waste my time. That probably covers it. I love the shopkeeper's like line delivery. He's such an asshat. I adore him. Hold on. Should there be something in between these two, or is it just... Hold on.
Use it.
Alright, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Ah, yeah. All good. Okay. Just getting confused as to where I am. So, we got this bit. Once we get up to like a... I don't know, maybe up to... Sure, we'll go up to this bit and then...
The only problem is, well, once again, we don't have the money to buy it.
Okay. So, yeah, next live action line.
Money is going to be a big issue for a couple things here, so let's try... Okay.
I think this line took me a couple tries to get right. There's some lines that I just can't seem to do for like a little while, so they take a few takes.
Money is going to be a big issue for a couple things here. Money is going to...
And sometimes I need to leave myself extra space, and I don't, so it's kind of annoying. The problem is that when I'm recording a video, I kind of get into the mindset of, please, I just want to get through this, rather than, let's get this right. Mainly because I'm not a big fan of recording, because I have to kind of cover everything myself. I have to make sure everything's in focus. I have to make sure my delivery's right. I have to make sure, like, there's no noise pollution from anything else. It can be kind of frustrating. I don't have, like, a second person watching the camera. I don't have anyone going, hold on, you messed up that line there. Because when you're actually saying the lines, you don't actually realize you messed it up sometimes. So, it can be tricky. So I find it a little bit frustrating and stressful. So my brain is just like, let's just get through this as soon as possible.
Money is going to be a big issue for a couple things here, so let's get a bit of cash first.
That's a perfectly fine take, actually. I mean, stuff like staying like center of the frame as well is really difficult when you can't see that you're not in the center of the frame.
Money is going to be a big issue for... Money's going to be a big issue for a couple of things here, so let's figure out how to get some cash first.
So I try not to worry about these things because there's not really a lot I can do about it. Unless I got like you need a monitor for your camera, yeah, I know. Thinking of getting like, kind of like hook up a camera to a laptop basically, just so you can see it. I'm thinking of getting like a laptop anyway. Just like a laptop that I can kind of like install files on and get work done in like an environment that's not my... Basically, something that's not my gaming PC, so I don't get tempted by anything else. Because that can be a problem sometimes. I'd have to figure something out. I've been using this camera for a few years now, so I think I want to change things up anyway. I've got a bit of money right now. I might consider splashing out for some new tech.
First. Money's going to be a big issue for a couple of these trials, so let's figure out how to get some...
Also, it was really warm when I was recording this, so I'm not sure how sweaty I'm going to get later on.
Money's going to be a big issue for a couple of these trials, so let's figure out how to get some cash first.
These are completely fine takes. All right. So these are 3 takes of the same line. I'm glad when I have lots of different takes because it gives me options, and sometimes I mess up in ways I don't even notice. So
money is going to be a big issue for a couple things here, so let's get a bit of cash first.
That's completely fine.
Money's going to be a big issue for a couple of things here, so let's figure out how to get some cash first.
Okay.
Money's going to be a big issue for a couple of these trials, so let's figure out how to get some cash first.
I think that last one has the most expressiveness to it, so I'm going to stick with that one. I don't know if you guys agree, but I think this one seems to have the most...
Money's going to be a big issue for a couple of these trials, so let's figure out how to get some cash first.
Just the way I kind of... Even though I'm not, like, gesturing with my hands, I'm, like, gesturing with my head. Like, a little bit more. I think it's a lot more interesting to watch. So... I actually put these ones on this line. That's... There we go. Right. So yeah, let's grab these and put them where we need to put them. So which is over here. Hold on. Yep, all good. All right, so that takes us up to about 15 minutes and 45 seconds. And now that we've covered that, I'm going to highlight this. This doesn't need much more editing, so we'll put that in green. Whoops. I don't know why you keep doing that. I'll put that in a darker yellow. Put that in a green. That's going to be a green because it's a live action thing, and it's live action has visuals in it already. This one would be a darker yellow. This one would be green. This one will be darker yellow, and this one will be green. And that's not really, it doesn't look like a lot of progress, and it isn't, but you know, it's just the process I go through. And then the next segment we're going to be doing is this whole thing, which is going to be quite a lot of voiceover until a circus tent containing a pair of Italian brothers. So that's kind of where we need to get to. All right. So we've already cut a few of these lines out. So let's just snap them together.
And that brings me pretty nicely to this, the island map. This shows everywhere you can go on the island. It's not just the town. This shows everywhere you can go on the island. It's not just the town.
Oh, that's two different takes of the same line.
This shows everywhere you can go on the island. It's not just the town.
That's fine.
This shows everywhere you can go on the island. It's not just the town.
I like the first one better. All right. What's the next one? There's quite a bit that opens up here. Oh, yeah.
This shows everywhere you can go on the island.
That's the same line again. No worries.
There's quite a bit that opens up here. Despite being an adventure game, Ron Gilbert wanted to feel...
Tripped over my words there.
You see, despite this being an adventure game, Ron Gilbert wanted it to feel a little bit like an RPG, so included overhead maps.
That's actually true. Ron Gilbert wanted it to feel a little bit RPG-like in the development of the game, so he was like, I want to make the maps look a bit like the overhead ones. It's a good detail, actually. I like the overhead maps in Monkey Island. They're cool. And, okay.
So included overhead maps as part of the game's design.
I don't need that. That's just an extra take.
So, if we're going to get some money, we need to go in the area...
Nope.
So, if we're going to get some money, we need to go to the...
Screw that up twice. Okay.
So, if we're going to get some money, we need to go to the area on the map marked Circus. Okay. So, if we're going to get some money, we need to go to the area marked on the...
Getting frustrated because I can't get the line right.
So, if we're going to get some money, we need to go to the area on the map marked as Circus.
Yeah, that is fine. I'm gonna try and put yeah, the circus is really brief though. I go into detail here because I go into detail on everything, but the circus is pretty much used for like one item. So it's not like a particularly extensive area of the game. You have like 2 characters. Yeah, it's a one and done. I say one item. You get money from the circus. It's really important to get the money. It's something you really need to do. But I think that there's somewhere that I read that where I think Ron Gilbert or someone else who worked on Monkey Island that mentioned that they wish they'd done more with the Fettuccine brothers. Like they wish they'd had them like sort of more front and center in another part of the game or involved in another puzzle. I can't remember where I read that. I had a lot of like reading when I was writing the script, so I read that. It must have been something in one of Ron Gilbert's blog posts.
True to form, this is a good to form.
Oops.
This is and true to form.
Let's click on my.
And true to form, this is a good-looking circus.
It's a good-looking circus. I wasn't expecting that to be the line, but it is a segue into the sort of pixel art.
And true to form, this is one damn fine circus.
Fettuccine. I kind of like come down on the name Fettuccine as like a name for a couple of Italian brothers because I'm just like, come on. It's like the best name you could come up with for a couple of Italians, the Fettuccine brothers. It's I don't know, they're funny. I think it's funny because like obviously they've got this really sort of stereotypical Italian sounding name, and I was like, and then one of them is called Alfredo, and the other's called Bill. I'm not sure if that's the overall joke, and like, the punchline is the fact that one of them's just called Bill. I do like that. So.
True to form, this is one damn fine circus.
I like damn fine better than good looking circus. I think that's.
I love the way the forest scrolls. I love the way the screen scrolls to unveil the tent in the distance. It looks awesome. I love the way the screen scrolls to unveil the tent in the distance. It's perfect.
Yeah, that's better. I think I altered the line slightly there, but hey Kristen, how you doing? Just doing some editing on this Monkey Island here. Where's that bit? Okay. The bit I'm talking about where you can see... Okay. They did the art specifically in this area where you wouldn't be able to see the circus. Like, as you enter the screen. Because when you actually walk down, it scrolls and you can see this pixel art, like the sort of vibrant...
I get in the cannon, but I can't...
Excuse me. The vibrant colours like pop out against the dark forest. It's a really sort of little great moment. Like I think they sort of tweaked it slightly. Like they made sure it scrolled so you saw it. It's so good. So good. I should have like stated that a bit more in the script, but I kind of just glossed over it a little bit. Yeah. I guess I didn't really think it was worth mentioning. Maybe I should have. It's not like an essential detail, but it's neat that they actually specifically chose to do that.
To unveil a tent in the distance. It's perfect.
It's gonna be quite the video, yeah.
I love the way the screen scrolls to. I love the way the screen scrolls to unveil the tent in the distance. It looks awesome.
So it looks perfect. It looks awesome. Actually, awesome is closer to the script. I don't know. Perfect. I'm gonna go with that one. You know what? That's better.
The pixel art in this game in general is just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Having been worked on by the aforementioned Steve Purcell, but also Mark Ferrari and Mike Abert.
Oh yeah, Mark Ferrari. Just me when I say you guys have seen Mark Ferrari's art before. Mark Ferrari. If you've seen like any like pixel art landscapes, you have seen Mark Ferrari's art. Obviously he did Monkey Island 1's, a lot of Monkey Island 1's background. Like you might have seen this one before or like this one. This guy's great. He did Thimbleweed Park as well. Let's see if I can find. And Steve Purcell, of course, who's, you know, the creator of Sam & Max. But Mark Ferrari, I mean, look at this. It's gorgeous. The guy is immensely talented. Might have seen this one. Yeah, I remember sending you there's a website which has like all of these like sort of landscapes, but kind of like because he did multiple versions of them, like some like version with rain. I'm not sure if someone else did it, like these specific alterations, or if he did them himself. But a Snowy Mountain one. This one. Because yeah, he did like sort of. There was like I think he did multiple versions, and like there was like it's your fave piece of pixel art. Yeah, Mark Ferrari. Yeah, he did a lot of stuff for Monkey Island 1. So, which you can tell because Monkey Island 1 just. Even though this isn't the art the game was originally made with, because it was originally made in 16 color, it was updated to 256 color when the CD release. But like you can see, like there, it looks stunning. Let's see if we can find any other specific examples that were really good. Stands maybe. Yeah, you got like a pretty good thing with the stars going on. Let's look at one of my favorite landscapes is the sort of hell area, with the hell caves, with like the lava, the ghost ship, and like the sort of faces in the thingy, in the walls. It's really creepy. But I love it. The faces in the special edition one look nowhere near as creepy. How much time was spent on those backgrounds? I know. It's interesting because the backgrounds in Monkey Island 2, Monkey Island 2 only came out a year after Monkey Island. I think there's a year after. Was it 1991? Does anyone remember? It was. Yeah, 1991. Yeah, it was only a year after, and something I think that was noted in the developer commentary for Monkey Island 2 is that the art's a little bit rougher around the edges. Like there's something about it that just looks a little bit messier in places, like going from the sort of original sketches to the actual in-game pixel art. Like there wasn't time to actually clean up the backgrounds with Monkey Island 2. Though it's not something that really is a huge issue anyway, because the game still looks fine. It just kind of looks a little bit more sketched, cartoony in places. So I do think that actually looking at I'm trying to look for a kind of comparison, like which isn't that low resolution one. With the special edition. Yeah, the special edition for Monkey Island 2 is actually really good looking, I think, compared to the special edition for Monkey Island 1. I'm like a bit of a stickler for the special edition of Monkey Island 1. I don't think it looks that great. But Monkey Island 2, they did a much better job. The animations are much nicer. The environments look much nicer, I think. So, anyway, I need to stop rambling about graphics of Monkey Island and actually work on video. Consider this like an extension of the video, almost like a developer commentary.
Mark Ferrari and Mike Abert.
Yeah.
You may have seen Mark Ferrari's work at some point. He did some art for Thimbleweed Park recently.
Yes, and
you may have seen these particular pieces of art before as well. He's an immensely talented guy.
the only thing you don't like about Monkey Island 1 SE is Guybrush's sprite. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Guybrush's sprite. Someone did a mod that changes the hair of Guybrush's sprite in the special edition of Monkey Island 1. Because they got his hair completely wrong. I'm gonna throw that out there. I think the hair looks really bad. It does not look like the right style. I actually downloaded the video for that. I have it somewhere in here. I think I have it. Have I not put it in the timeline? I might not have done. I feel like I should have done though. No, well, either way. Let me see if I can. Monkey Island hair mod. Yeah. So like someone did a mod that pretty much just draws over the hair for Guybrush in Monkey Island 1 using the sort of style used in the Monkey Island 2 special edition. Actually changing his face now that I look at it, yeah. So it looks way better. And yeah, I'm just not sure what they were going for with this style. It just doesn't look right. It's like if you look at see if I can find a good picture. If you look at this is what Guybrush looks like in Monkey Island 1. Yeah, actually this is a good comparison. You can see that hair is just way off. Yeah, it looks like Rayman. That's just not right. I much prefer this style anyway. Like the sort of realistic style that you see in the original 256 color. I just think that looks awesome. So it's my preferred version of the game. But like at the same time, I'm like, but I want the voiceovers as well. And if you play the special edition, but use the original graphics, because that's an option with the special edition, then it also disables the voiceover. It's like you can't have both in the special edition, and it's so annoying. So there's a mod called the Ultimate Talkie Edition that allows you to have these specific graphics with the voiceover, and that's how I prefer to play the game. Like that to me is definitive. That's the definitive way to play Monkey Island 1. For Monkey Island 2, you can kind of get away with these in the special edition because it does allow you to do the original art, and you can in Monkey Island 2. Yeah, which is much better. They should have patched it in somehow with the original one because it's just annoying. All right, I need to. Where do we get to? It's when I talk about the bickering Italian brothers.
Either way, the circus tent contains a pair of bickling.
The struggle is real with recording voiceover. Bickling. That's what it's like. You just kind of say something in a really bizarre way and you just go, how did I mess that up?
Either way, the circus tent contains a pair of bickering Italian brothers.
And there you go.
Either way, the circus tent contains a pair of bickering Italian brothers.
I prefer the first take.
These are the...
Okay. Alright, that's everything we need for this segment. So, let's just get these to where they need to be. Hey, Perks, how are you doing? Let's drag these along. This is a big segment of voiceover to edit. I'll condense it once I get to that point in my process. And let's just zoom this across. I know in some other editing softwares you can just kind of like press a button and it sort of just shortens the gap in between them, but I don't think we have that in Vegas. And if we do have that in Vegas, then I don't know what the hotkey for it is. So it's like something we can do where we can just kind of see if I wanted to like close this gap, there'd be a way to do it in another editing software, but not this one. It'd be a nice feature to have because it'd save me a little bit of time. It is what it is. Let's get a clip of some bickering Italians. Which is here.
I get in the cannon. I get in the cannon, but the gunpowder makes me sneeze.
Well, I cannot do it. I hurt my hand taming the lions last week.
I hardly think that little scratch compares to my chronic allergy. You get in the cannon.
You don't have any allergies, you faker. You get in the cannon.
No, you get in the cannon.
No, you get in the cannon.
Slacker,
Loser.
ruffian,
Flop.
weasel,
Weevil.
miscreant.
Where should we take this up to? Guybrush has the same hairstyle as Brendan Fraser in The Mummy. Oh my god, he totally does.
No,
You get in the cannon.
no,
Have any
Hold on.
Don't have any. You don't have any allergies, you faker. You get in the cannon.
no, you get in the cannon.
You don't have any
Where
allergies.
should we take this up to?
The cannon.
Slacker,
Loser.
ruffian,
Flop.
weasel,
Weevil.
I've got an idea how we could do a little bit of an editing joke there to make this amusing. Okay, this isn't final, but you love this part. It's a good part. I like the Fettuccine Brothers. They're fun. But why are they called the Fettuccine Brothers?
These are the Fettuccine Brothers. These are the...
I think that first take's actually fine.
These are the Fettuccine Brothers.
That was actually okay.
These are the Fettuccine Brothers.
Yeah, the first one. I haven't said the first one. Okay.
The brothers are arguing about a cannon trick they've...
We've put the fettuccine in, so I think that's how you spell fettuccine in this game. I can't remember how it's spelled specifically in this game. Oh well. It doesn't really matter because I'm not writing it down. It's not like it's people who will be able to tell that I've spelled it wrong from my voiceover.
plan for their act.
If I have spelled it wrong, I don't actually know.
The brothers are arguing about a cannon trick they've planned for their act.
Actually, I need a... There is a... I actually really like this joke here.
Really? Really? The Fettuccine Brothers. I mean, that's like calling them the Pizza Pasta Twins. Or Spaghetti and Meatball.
Spaghetti and meatball. Hold on, actually, that's not quite the line. I think I forgot it slightly.
Really? The Fettuccine Brothers. I mean, that's like one step away from calling them the Pizza Pasta Twins. Or the Spaghetti and Meatball Boys.
The Spaghetti and Meatball Boys. I'm not sure if actually Spaghetti and Meatball actually works better as like a sort of...
The Pasta Twins. Or Spaghetti and Meatball.
Actually, you know what? I like Spaghetti and Meatball because it sounds like a duo. You know what? I think that's fine. That works better, actually.
Really? The Fettuccine Brothers. I mean, that's like calling them the Pizza Pasta Twins. Or Spaghetti and Meatball.
It's actually a good joke. I'm funny sometimes.
Fettuccine Brothers. The brothers are arguing about a cannon trick they've planned for their act.
Oh, actually, there's another bit, isn't there? Ooh. Alfredo. This is where I react to the Alfredo and Bill joke. They go for quite a while, actually. And then you tell them that you're selling these fine leather jackets.
These fine jackets.
Say there, son.
And they, like, teleport over to you.
How'd you like the chance
A once-in-a-lifetime chance.
to perform an amazing feat?
A death-defying feat.
Well, not so death-defying, really.
Dangerous feat.
No, not dangerous at all,
An easy feat.
but exciting,
With the amazing
adventurous, acrobatic,
and exceedingly well-known
fabulous, flying.
Ferrucini brothers.
I did spell it right.
That's us,
My brother Alfredo.
and my brother Bill.
Ferrucini brothers.
That's us. That's us. That's us,
My brother Alfredo.
and my brother Bill.
All right. Actually, that should be up here. That's fine here, and then I need another. Oh, I need need another live action clip where I just kind of go, okay, that's pretty funny.
Okay, that's kind of funny.
Is it kind of funny or kind of funny is what I wrote in the script?
Okay. Okay, you know what? That's kind of funny. Okay. Okay, you know what? That's kind of funny.
Why not bechamel? I think because Bill's funnier, because it's like one of them is called Alfredo Fettuccini, which is like the most Italian name to ever have Italianed, and the other one's just called Bill. So it's like, I don't know. I think that's the joke. I find it funny.
Okay, you know what? That's pretty funny. Okay, you know what? That's pretty funny.
Especially when you consider that they're basically like, I would assume twins. So like, they were born at the same time. And like, their parents were like, well, we'll call one of them Alfredo. The other one's Bill.
Okay, you know what? That's pretty funny.
Best delivery on that one, I would say, it's between these two.
Okay, you know what? That's kind of funny.
I like that one.
Okay, you know what?
Hold on, whoops. That was a bit stiff.
Okay, you know what? That's pretty funny. Okay, you know what?
Just strike this out slightly a bit.
That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny.
Oop.
Kind of funny. Kind of funny. Pretty funny. Okay, you know what? That's kind of funny.
I like the sort of like little gesture there, the hand gesture. I like that.
Okay, you know what? That's pretty funny. Okay, you know what?
I'm gonna go with the first one on this. They've got a great theme as well. Okay, neither of them.
The brothers
Okay, actually.
of them want to try the. Neither of them want to try the cannon. Neither of them want to try the dangerous.
I was not getting this one, was I?
Neither of them want to try the dangerous stunt. Neither of them want to.
I think I actually saved that for the next recording session.
The two brothers are arguing about a cannon trick they have planned for their act.
Oh, actually, I kind of restarted this, didn't I?
They're arguing about a cannon trick they've planned for their act.
Oh, we'll just go from here, I guess.
The two brothers are arguing about a cannon trick they have planned for their act. Neither of them want to try the dangerous stunt, understandably. So as soon as you step in, they immediately accost you and offer you money to test the stunt.
That was a little bit peaking the microphone. That's probably fine if I like drag the levels down slightly. I need to remember to turn my gain down a little bit when I'm recording voiceover.
and offer you money to test the stunt for them. Of course, it's completely safe, right?
These are actually all fine. Oops, that's my Steam. And then we got another bit of live action stuff here.
Only a mild chance of death or horrific
Alright.
Only a mild chance of death or horrific disfigurement, surely.
Okay.
Only a mild chance of death or Only a mild chance of death or horrific disfigurement, surely. Only a mild chance of death or... Only a mild chance of death or... There's only a mild...
Recording stuff is fun.
There's only a mild chance of death or horrific disfigurement, surely. There's only a mild chance of death or horrific disfigurement, surely. There's only a mild chance of death or horrific disfigurement, surely.
That one's not so bad. Okay, we've got 5 different takes on this one. Which of the 5 will be the one? Take 1.
Only a mild chance of death or horrific disfigurement, surely. Only a mild chance of death or horrific disfigurement, surely.
Those are okay.
There's only a mild chance of death or horrific disfigurement, surely.
Yeah.
There's only a mild chance of death or horrific disfigurement, surely.
Yeah. Alright, I think it's between these 3.
Only a mild chance of death or horrific disfigurement, surely.
I think the third one maybe, actually.
There's only a mild chance of death or horrific disfigurement, surely.
That face. That's the face. That sells it. So this is what goes into me deciding which take to use. It's just like, I make a funny face. That one's going to be the one. It's like the end of that page, so we'll pop these into place now. And then I'm going to take a quick break to go to the toilet, but I will only be gone for like a minute, so... Wait, how far have I gone? I went too far. I meant to pop this on here. Alright, here we go. And that would take us up to 1733, although it will be cut down slightly from there. Right. Which means that currently the 3 childs, the part 1 segment is from 6 minutes and 3 through till 1733. So it's about 11.5 minutes. I've done videos shorter than that on their own. Alright. I will be back in a moment. I'm just going to quickly go and have a bathroom break, as the Americans would say. Just a moment. I am back. Let's get some more work done. All right. So where were we? We were up to... All right, let's get this highlighted then. Spaghetti and meatball. I do like that joke. I don't actually need that bit, do I? I'll highlight it in red, which means it doesn't need to be there. We just cut. And boom and boom. Okay. So then we've got we've kind of covered 9 pages of the progress. All right. Right. I've only got 3 blocks of voiceover left in this part of the video. Shouldn't sound like much, but it's actually quite a bit. It's fine.
They won't agree to let you do it unless you have a helmet. But where on earth would you get a safety helmet on this island?
Ooh, first try, nice.
Don't worry, Chief. We already got you covered. Don't worry, Chief. We got you covered already. Don't worry, Chief. We got you covered already.
I actually like that best.
Remember the pot we picked up in the scum bar? This acts as the perfect safety helmet to use here. Well, not perfect so much as functional.
Dude, I might just go through and cut out all the lines that I need, because that'll save me a lot of time. I think I'll do that. It means it won't feel like I'm making progress, but it'll cut a whole bunch of time. It's something that he's doing anyway, so we'll just go through and cut up this voiceover.
Well, not perfect so much as functional. So let's do it. I'm sure Guybrush will be fine. This is another Loom reference, by the way. Loom's protagonist is a character called Bobbin Threadbare. I'm sure he'll be fine.
I think that was another line that I ad-libbed just to make sure it was in there.
This right here is actually another Loom reference. This right here is actually another Loom reference, by the way. The protagonist of Loom is called Bobbin.
Didn't we already have this?
Loom reference, by the way. Loom's protagonist is a character called Bobbin Threadbare.
It's a little bit sort of too fast, though.
Right here is actually another Loom reference. This right here is actually another Loom reference, by the way.
It's like nicely, a bit more spread out, which is...
The protagonist of Loom is called Bobbin Threadbare, who, to cut a long story short, is looking for his mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the money, we can get ourselves a sword from the shopkeeper.
Awesome.
With the money, we can get the sword from the shopkeeper.
Nope.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that we can fight with it. The place we find a teacher is here on the map. But we need to cross the bridge first. And appropriately, the bridge has a troll. And appropriately...
I think I was going to use a Lemmy clip here. Which is...
And appropriately, the bridge has a troll.
I'll keep both of those just in case I want to use a different...
But you can't just put this troll in a bag.
That's another Lemmy reference.
He requires a troll toll. Not in the form of money, though.
Talking about the troll toll.
Not a money toll, though. He wants something... He wants something that, according to him...
That's what you talk about. We want something that will attract attention, but have no real importance. Because you need to give him a red herring. It's funny. But it's kind of... like... it's a bit much for an adventure game puzzle, I think, for some people. Because like you have to kind of understand what a red herring is, and some people don't. So especially like people where that phrase, like who don't have English as a first language, where that phrase might not necessarily mean anything to them. So
What? So like a red herring? Oh. What? So like a red herring? Oh.
I don't know which of those takes will be better. I'll figure it out once I actually get to that bit.
Very clever. Oh, that's clever.
Yeah. Yeah, let's just cut up these voice lines. So I can go through and see what I have in the video and then just... How's everyone holding up, by the way?
If you don't know...
I know this isn't the most interesting stream I'll ever do, but, you know. If I stream my video editing, it basically means that I won't get distracted in a social media hole. So, it keeps me on task, basically.
No, a red herring is an idiom typically used in stories to refer to a misleading detail. It points away from where you should be looking. I think it's a funny solution, personally, but it operates under the assumption that you already know what a red herring is. And you might not. Especially if English isn't your first language.
Yep.
So yeah, it's up to you whether or not you like this puzzle. Once you give the troll the red herring, he unmasks him. Once you give the troll the red herring, he unmasks it.
Good sound. Good sound.
Once you give the troll the red herring, he unmasks himself. Once you give the troll the red herring, once you give the troll the red...
Baba.
Once you give the troll the red herring, he unmasks himself, and it's George Lucas.
It's actually true. In... Once... Baba. Yeah, so like, once you give him the red herring, he unmasks himself, and it's actually George Lucas. You can't necessarily tell with the original pixel art because it's quite small, but with the special edition, you can actually see like the sort of the little swoosh of George Lucas's 80s hair in the art. So the joke lands a lot better, I think, in the special edition, but it's still like, it's still cute. It's literally just George Lucas. They have a bridge stroll, and it's just George Lucas who's asking for a red herring. It's bizarre, but I love it.
He unmasks him. He takes off a mask, and it's George Lucas.
Ooh, I actually like that sort of incredulousness to it.
He unmasks himself, and it's George Lucas. He takes off a mask, and it's George Lucas. Also, you might not quite recognize him with these graphics, but it's much more obvious with the special edition and fully captures that authentic 80s George swoosh.
George swoosh.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff. Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
I think that's ad lib.
One of the few hairstyle changes of the... That's one of the few hairstyle changes of the special edition that's actually good. That's one of the few hairstyle changes of the special edition that's actually good. That's one of the few hairstyle changes in the special edition that's actually really good. Passing the bridge allows us to reach the shack of Captain Smirk, an action hero looking guy who has an eye patch, short cropped white hair, and smokes a stogie.
Gotta love I managed to get the word stogie in there.
Fair to say, he's probably a badass. So maybe he can teach us about being better than the Swordmaster. Okay, maybe we're... Okay, so maybe we're a bit of a way off, but we need to make a start. So, let's, show him our sword. So, let's, show him... So let's show him our sword.
The joke is that it does kind of sound smutty. Especially in the game. Like, hold on. Where is it? There's like a specific line where it's just like... you show him the sword. And... here we go. I don't know what exactly it is. Like, you guys tell me. Does this sound a bit smutty?
Oh, it's you. Let's see your sword.
Well, I don't want to show it to you.
I think you'd better. Let's see your sword.
Okay, check it out.
Yes, this is a nice one. Let's get to it.
That sounds smutty, doesn't it? Is it just me? Anyone agree with that? It's the, yes, this is a nice one. Stranger danger.
Smirk explains the basic pin...
Did I just say basic principles?
Smirk explains the basic pin... Smirk explains...
I almost said basic principles there. Oh, voiceover, you're so fun. So there's like I'll be like doing like a joke with that about how it sounds smutty, and then yeah, I want to see if I can cut out all the voice lines for part 1 in this stream, and then I'll probably wrap things up.
The basic pin...
I say it like that, like it's not long left in the stream, but I reckon this will take me a while, so.
Smirk explains the basic...
I did the same thing.
Smirk explains the basic...
Again, I did the same thing again.
Why is this so hard to say?
I said basic like 3 times in a row. How did I manage that?
Smirk explains the basic principles of what...
Did I get it right?
Smirk explains the basic principles of what it means to be...
Yeah, I did get it. Shit. There's little gems when you're recording voiceover, like when you like react to like getting a take wrong. Just that like sort of just matter of fact. Shit.
Shit.
Yeah, they have oh shit. It makes me laugh when I'm editing, and that's kind of that makes it worth it.
Smirk explains the basic principles of what it means to fight with a sword, and puts you up against a training machine.
Indeed, he does.
Then this is where an iconic Monkey Island mechanic comes into play.
Ooh. Do tell me more.
Insult sword fighting.
I'm intrigued.
As Smirk says, it's not as much about what you do as much as it is about what you say.
Oh, mama.
It's not so much about what you do as much as it is about what you say.
I think I got it the first time.
The way this mechanic works is that there are a set of insults to learn that have setups and responses.
Yeah.
And the key to winning a battle is having all these to hand. And the key to winning a battle is having the right ones to hand.
Yeah, that's actually more correct way of phrasing it, so. Okay.
Smirk teaches you a couple of them, including...
How appropriate. You fight like a cow. Actually, you fight like a dairy farmer.
To which the response is...
How appropriate. You fight like a cow. Right, there we go.
I've been quoting this one ever since I first played it.
That is true. I remember telling my friends about the insult the insults from this game when I was 12, because I would have been 12 when I first played Monkey Island 1. I was a very cool kid.
But there are many, many more to get through. Smirk throws another one your way involving a feather duster, but for the rest, you gotta go out and learn them yourself. Against other pirates on the island. This is, by far, the most time-consuming segment of the game.
Is that actually a line in Scott Pilgrim? I've not seen the movie or read the thing that it's from. Is it a comic? It's a comic, isn't it? I have no. It's in the comics. Oh, okay. That's actually pretty neat. That's a good reference. I've never read them, so I didn't actually know that. See, that's not just a good reference. That's like a really good use of that like response. Like, that's really good. That's like something that could have been in the Monkey Island puzzle at some point.
There's a pretty long list of insults to learn, but on your first playthrough, it can be really fun to find them out. Through these sword fights, you'll be given new insult setups, and you won't be able to respond at first. Until you pass those setups onto a pirate who does know them. So you then learn the response.
I was thinking about that blank meme thing. Yeah, I don't know where it is now. I'd have to root through somewhere in my computer to find it. But there was one I remember where I used like a bit from like a TF2 conversation, where like someone says something along the lines of, I challenge you to a battle of wits, but it appears you're unarmed. And then like the response is just, your mom sucked me good and hard through my jorts. And I thought that was like a perfect like Monkey Island, like way to do a Monkey Island sword fighting reference. And I kind of made like a thing out of that. And then like it kind of like became like a sort of a brief meme template that me and my friends used. I thought it was pretty good. Never took off, obviously, because why would a Monkey Island meme take off? But you know.
And so you then learn the response. So you then learn the response. So you then learn the response to it.
That's a better take. I will keep it. Gotta bring it back. I should, yeah.
So you then learn the response to it. Which means that next time someone else uses that insult, you could...
Actually, you know what? I didn't really need to keep that second one. All right.
Which means that the next time someone else uses that insult, you can respond.
Really?
Which means that the next time someone else uses that insult, you can respond.
I should re-record that. That's... Is that really the... I don't even think that insult sword fighting is like really the best part of the game, honestly. I think it's fine, like especially on like the first or second playthroughs, but I think it can get a little bit tedious. Maybe it's just me. I do like it. It's just that I've done it so many times that at this point I'm just like, I feel like my time is being a bit wasted here. So...
Which means that next time someone else uses that insult, you can... You can respond. You can respond.
Tell you what, I don't actually need to re-record this because I can just splice the two takes together.
When else uses that insult, you can respond.
That'll work if I clean it up a little bit. I do like the insult sword fighting take in Tales, yeah. And I'll see you later, Unicorn. You take care of yourself. I'm glad that your health's much better as well. That's good to hear.
These Errolfin-inspired insults were written by Orson Scott Card, who is best known for his Ender's Game books. And also for being a huge homophobic jerk.
There you go. There's the payoff of that one, Remele.
His writing might be good, but screw that guy. I won't waste any time on him.
I think it was you that brought up the fact, like, that, like, sort of aspect of him in, like, another stream. And I kind of scribbled it into this part of the script.
His writing might be good, but screw that guy. I won't dwell on him.
That's just another take of the same line.
If I'm being perfectly honest, this particular bit of The Secret of Monkey Island drags a bit. On the first playthrough, yeah, it's fine. Especially since you don't know all the insults. Even on the second and maybe third, you might end up hearing a couple of them that you didn't remember or didn't even hear last time. There's about 17 insults in all. And you don't actually need all of them to beat the Swordmaster. Even Ron Gilbert agrees with me on this one. In a blog post where he replayed the game, he wrote...
Ooh, why is that like that? Hold on. Where am I? Okay. Okay. It's because there's a live action segment that I'm continuing on from. That's why. That makes more sense now.
I thought it seemed a little tedious, but fun as I played through it again. There is a point where you say, I get it. But you're still forced to go through the motions again and again.
That's just quoting Ron Gilbert.
So when exactly does it end? How do you know when you have... How do you know when you know enough insults to fight the Swordmaster? How do you know when you know enough insults to fight the Swordmaster?
That first one's better. Yeah.
The pirates will start to tell you. Well, at some point, the pirates will start to tell you. In which case, it's now time to actually find Carla the Swordmaster. In which case, it's now time to actually find Carla the Swordmaster. And as it turns out, the shopkeeper we bought our sword from actually knows her personally. And is willing to ask for a meeting. And as it turns out, the shopkeeper we bought our sword from knows her personally. He knows her personally.
I actually like that take better.
And is willing to ask her. And is willing to ask her to meet up with her. Nah. And is willing to ask her to meet up with you.
Okay.
I say willing. If you let him try to set up a meeting though, it won't work. He just tells you that she's not interested. But if the shopkeeper does know the way there, then maybe we can just follow him next time. But will he cooperate again?
Yes.
Will he cooperate and ask her again? That's the question.
Actually, that gives a bit more context as to what I'm saying.
Yep. He sure will. Yep, he sure will.
I laugh because it's like... It's doing the sort of... I guess I could hike all the way over there. Again. Be right back. It's a funny line.
And now you can pretty much just follow him across the island. It's not a very difficult puzzle. And eventually you can just... It's not difficult at all. And eventually you just find him at the house of Carla. It's not difficult at all. And eventually you just find him... It's not difficult at all. And eventually you find him at the house of the Swordmaster.
That actually sounds a bit better, I think.
It soon becomes clear that he was never actually asking for anything on your behalf, just making excuses to see Carla. Since the lecherous old creep has a thing for her. Ugh. Ew. Still.
This take isn't amazing.
Since the lecherous old creep has a thing for her.
It works, though. It works, so I'm not
Still,
bothered.
now that we've found the Swordmaster, we can attempt to take her on in a sword fight. I really like Carla here. She's pretty much just tired of everyone's nonsense. Something you'll immediately notice with this fight is that she uses a... Something that you'll immediately notice with this fight is that she uses her own set of insults. Something that you'll immediately notice with this fight is that she uses her own set of insults.
That's better.
This can really throw you at first, because you haven't prepared for these setups at all. Was I supposed to learn these? Oh god, I don't know how to respond at all. Like, was I supposed to learn these? Oh god, I don't know how to respond at all. No, these insults cannot be learned from anyone but Carla. However, the responses you've learned for all the other insults are actually usable here. And with a clever bit of wordplay, you can come up with an appropriate response using what you have already.
I do like this puzzle. Like, the fact that, like, I think it's a really good payoff for the insult sword fighting segment. When you need to kind of, like... Because I still don't know all the responses to the Swordmaster's insults by heart. So still keeps my brain whirring. But basically, with the responses that you get from the other pirates about the other insults, you've kind of got to respond to her insults with something that works. So you've got to, like, really think about it, and I think it's a very good puzzle. I sing its praises here.
It's a very satisfying end to the insult sword fighting puzzle, as it's actually a puzzle.
Did I say insult?
End to the insult sword fighting puzzle.
No, I didn't. I thought I did.
As it's actually a puzzle.
It is.
Rather than just grinding for different voice lines.
Might be a controversial take to say that, but you know.
Rather than just grinding for different voice lines.
I like this one better.
Since it's actually a puzzle. Something I didn't mention before is how the voice changes when you get a response wrong or right. Something I didn't mention before is how the voice changes when you get a response wrong or right.
I like that detail as well.
This is entirely unique to the Special Edition's voiceover. And it's a nice touch. When you use a correct response, Guybrush sounds triumphant. However, if it's not correct, Guybrush sounds a lot more uncertain.
I always thought that was like a neat addition.
I love the delivery of these particular versions of the lines as well.
Like, because if you use how appropriate you fight like a cow wrongly, Guybrush goes, how appropriate you fight like a cow. It's like he doesn't know what he's saying, but he's just like, this one. It's great. It's something that's unique to the voiceover that I really like.
It may take a couple of attempts and extra insult learning, but eventually you'll have figured out... It may take a few attempts and extra insult learning, but eventually you'll have... It may take a couple of attempts and extra insult learning, but eventually you'll have figured out enough responses to beat her. And she then gives you something to prove that you bested her. And she then gives you something to prove that you bested her.
It's actually kind of much better emphasis, I think.
You bested her.
And there's like
Okay.
Getting tired while doing voiceover. Alright. Let's try and cut up these last two blocks. And then I'll probably call it and then work on this a bit by myself. Simply because... I mean, it feels like we've been making some some good progress today, so you know what? I'm happy with what we've done.
So, who's up for a bit of thievery?
Joe, you still here? Up for a bit of thievery?
So, who's up for a bit of thievery? So, who's up for a bit of thievery?
A or B?
So, who's up for a bit of thievery?
I like the second one better, I think.
Let's make the guy from Thief proud.
Let's make the... Joe, where are you? I'm making a thief reference.
What was he called again?
I make a joke where I pretend I don't know his name. What happened to Joe's Twitter? Which Joe? Kiwi Joe or Cafe Joe? Because Cafe Joe had like... He kept posting like clips from dancing games, and he got he got his Twitter account nuked for copyright. So he started a new one. Well, it's not a new one. It's like he just converted one of his alt accounts into his main one. Yeah, he got banned because he kept posting dancing videos. Yeah, it's the same. It's Joe's Cafe __. It's still it's dumb, but it's a funny story. Like, of all the things you could get taken off Twitter for. Oh, it's great.
Garrett.
No, but it's...
Garrett. Let's make Garrett proud. Garrett. Let's make Garrett proud. Garrett. Let's make Garrett proud.
That's actually a perfectly fine take.
Let's make Garrett proud. Yes, Garrett. Let's make Garrett proud. We already established... Actually, I should move this bit further back. We already established where the governor's mansion is earlier. And the Piranha Poodle guards. We ain't getting in without dealing with them first. So, who's up for poisoning some dogs? That's always a fun activity.
Don't take that out of context. I think sometimes the part of my aim with my script is just to like write something that you could take horribly out of context, simply because I think that's really funny. Still, not many people do. There's another one earlier on in the script. I think it's pretty early on, actually. I think it's the kitchen.
One of the funny things about Monkey Island is... Once you make it into the kitchen, you can see that the chef has some stuff on the go. But what he's making isn't too important. Grab his meat...
There we go. This is something I just wrote in because I thought it was a funny way to phrase it.
Grab his meat...
Hold on.
Grab his meat...
Grab his meat, lads. Why am I like this? If anyone like comments on that like in the video, I can just be like, oh no, I did that by accident. In this stream, kind of laughs himself saying grab his meat. It's funny. You've got to make yourself laugh.
So, who's up for poisoning some dogs?
Oh god.
That's always a fun activity.
I think that first take is actually completely fine, considering how deadpan it is.
So, who's up for poisoning some dogs? That's always a fun activity. So, who's up for poisoning some dogs? Now, that's always a fun activity.
I'm still in the first one. Alright.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's not actual poison. You just ply a slab of meat with a mysterious flower and feed it to them. It's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's not actual poison. You just ply them... Okay. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's not actual poison. You just apply a slab of meat with a mysterious flower and feed it to them.
Yeah, first one's alright, I think.
The solution to this puzzle might seem a little obtuse at first. I mean, why that flower in particular?
Did you know about this particular solution, Remolo? There's like why you actually use those yellow flowers on the meat in Monkey Island 1?
Something I didn't know for a long time is that Something I didn't know for a long time is that the answer is actually given to you by Otis in the prison. He mentions the yellow flowers in the forest being illegal to pick. And
I think I'm going to cut this. I remember there's something somewhere saying those flowers are poisonous. I think there might be that, but there's also Otis mentions that Otis mentions that there are yellow flowers that are illegal to pick. That's the only context you get. You know that they're illegal to pick. However, he mentions that the name of those flowers, I'm not sure if he mentions them specifically, but someone mentions that the name of the flowers is Kanish and Dormi. And Kanish and Dormi, when translated, actually, I'll show you. Hold on. Kanish and Dormi. It shows like this, but like Kanish and Dormi flower. Kanish and Dormi translates in French to sleeping poodle. So if you know French, the name of the flower actually gives you the solution. So there you go. I think that's like a really cute detail and that I didn't know for a really long time. Like that completely like blindsided me when I found it out. I was like, wow.
He mentions the yellow flowers in the forest being illegal to pick and being called Kanish and Dormi. That the answer is actually given to you by Otis.
I think I do an alternate take of this because I haven't mentioned Otis in the video yet. So
he mentions the yellow flowers in the forest being illegal to pick. And being called Kanish and Dormi.
I think that takes fine. Let's not worry about it.
Hold on a second.
This is me realizing that I haven't brought up Otis in the video, so I shouldn't mention it at this point.
Well, what do you know? That actually translates to sleeping poodle.
Actually, no, that's actually a line that I did. Oh, never mind.
Hold on a second. Well, what do you know? That actually translates to sleeping poodle. Neat.
Whoa. Did not mean to do that.
That actually translates to sleeping poodle. Neat. Well, what do you know? That actually translates to sleeping poodle. Neat.
I prefer the first take.
What follows is a fully automated sequence in the mansion where Guybrush has a fight with Festus Shinetop. It's a good comedic bit, if a little bit on the long side. The comedy mostly comes from the implications of everything happening through the game's interface and the verb system. But this right here, this is one of the most iconic examples, and one of the first. Yeah, others got there first, including a few other... a few others got there first, including a few... Yeah, others got there first, including a few of the LucasArts titles, and yeah, they don't... Yeah, others got there first, including a few of the LucasArts titles, and yeah, they didn't look this nice until the CD re-release. But this really solidified a great look for verb interfaces going forward. There are other companies who even chose to steal it simply because it worked so well. It's so simple. No more guessing which word to type in a parser, just select a verb and click on the object you want to interact with.
This is a segment of the video where I'm talking about verbs. God, love them verbs.
It was the future. I'm personally a fan of the whole system, but I know that Ron Gil...
Ron Gilbert said he wasn't a big fan of verbs now, so...
But I know that Ron Gilbert thinks they're a little bit antiquated nowadays and turn people off. I guess that's fair. You only really need luck, use, and walk in an adventure game.
It's true, isn't it? You only need luck, use, and walk. Maybe talk. But then again, you know, if you press use on a person, that's basically what talk should be. So, yeah.
They're well utilised in Monkey Island, but I think this automated sequence in the mansion highlights just how funny they can be. Some really amusing things can come out of this system. One of my favourites happens much later in the game if you click on the sun.
Oh, sure. Walk to the sun.
After scrapping with Fester for a while, trashing up the mansion for a bit, and acquiring some random and strange items like gopher repellent. After scrapping with Fester for a bit...
This is fine, I think.
After scrapping with Fester for a while, trashing up the mansion for a bit, and acquiring some random and rather strange items like gopher repellent.
I think this is...
After scrapping with Fester for a while, trashing up the mansion for a bit, and acquiring some random and strange items like gopher repellent.
Yeah, that takes completely fine. Why did I, like, redo it?
Guybrush locks the suspicious sheriff... Guybrush locks the suspicious... Why do I write hard to read lines? Guybrush locks the suspicious sheriff up. Guybrush locks the suspicious sheriff up.
Telltale had it mostly right with their earlier point and clicks, but the combining system with Tails was a bit clunky. It is a bit clunky, actually, yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that. Like, it should just be use one item on the other item. Or just drag one onto the other. But it's just like... You know, I'll get into that when I eventually review Tales, which will be happening, but it'll be a long time before I get there. Like, I have like a roadmap of videos ahead. Obviously, I've got this Secret Monkey Island one, and then I'm doing Outlaws, the LucasArts first-person shooter, which I've already mentioned before, so it's not like a new thing that I'm reviewing that. And then I'll be doing Monkey Island 2, I think, after that. And then I think I'm going to do a couple of other random reviews in between 2 and 3. And then Curse of Monkey Island. And then I'm going to do something in between Curse of Monkey Island and Escape from Monkey Island. Escape from Monkey Island. Something between Escape and Tales. And then Tales. So, you know, it's like I've got like a roadmap of like 10 videos ahead. But I'm making good progress on these. You know, this is a mammoth of a video. The Monkey Island series probably is gonna be. Oh, I actually haven't showed you guys the intro isn't finished yet. But it is going to be called Ultimate Monkey Island. I have like a logo for it and everything. And that's the name of the series. I need like some like graphic things from someone else before it's 100% done. I'll show you guys the intro. Why not? It's slightly condensed, like condensed version of the theme. In this bit, there'll be like sort of a montage of clips from the game. I think I haven't like figured out exactly what will be there yet. And then possibly like sort of intro credits, like written by Connor Mountain, whatever. I managed to like pretty nicely condense the theme as well. Like I found like a sort of overlap between like one of the sort of core melody, and I kind of blended the end of the song with the sort of with the intro. So you get the core melody, but it's only like a less than 30-second long intro. I didn't want the intro to be too long, you see. Otherwise, it would have been like a full minute long if I'd used like the whole song. So just for the sake of, you know, brevity, which is indeed the soul of wit.
However, we're lacking an item we need to get the... However, we're lacking one item we need to get the idol, a file.
Yeah, like a condensed TV show opening.
And I'm talking about the metal scrapey kind of file, not the document kind.
Metal scrapey kind.
So where could Guybrush get one of those? The best practice here is to kind of go for a word association game. Files are often hidden in cakes to get people... Files, often hidden in cakes. Files, often hidden in cakes to get people out... Files, often hidden in cakes to break people out of prison. And TV Tropes calls it the jailbake trope.
Yeah, that's what it's called. It's called jailbake. That's what the trope is called.
The thing about Monkey Island is the thing about Monkey Island is that it's in the business of
Nope.
The thing about Monkey Island is that it's blah blah blah. The thing about Monkey Island is that the thing about Monkey Island is that it's in the business of inverting these sorts of tropes.
Yeah, it sure is.
So what if it's not a file we need to get into the... Okay. So what if it's not a file in a cake that we need to get into the prison, but one that we actually need to get out of the prison? The Melee Island jail contains Otis.
I think this is the moment where I realised that I haven't, like... This is the first time I mentioned Otis in the video, but I mentioned him earlier by accident because that was the way I wrote the script.
I just realised that I mentioned Otis earlier.
There you go.
Something I didn't know for a while is that the answer is actually given to you by a prisoner. Something I didn't know for a while... Something I didn't know for a long time is that the answer is actually given to you by a prisoner in the jail.
Right, and that's the kind of revised take I did. So we'll just cut that out as well.
The Melee Island jail contains Otis. Okay.
Otis.
The Melee Island jail contains Otis.
Didn't I already do that, though?
The Melee Island jail contains Otis.
That's actually fine.
Island jail contains Otis.
I love how in Escape from Monkey Island, Otis is back and he ends up in jail again for picking flowers again.
The prisoner we mentioned earlier.
That's one of the jokes in Escape from Monkey Island that definitely lands for me.
Otis is a petty criminal who has been eating rats.
Yeah.
In fact, his breath smells so bad we can't even talk to him at first until we give him a breath mint from the store. We can't really blame him. I mean, Otis has had nothing to eat in his cell except the rat. The rats. We can't really blame him. I mean, Otis had nothing to eat in his than the rats. Well, except for the carrot cake that his Aunt Tilly made for him. He'd be willing to trade his cake if we gave him something to get rid of the rats, which are his only other food source. This might not be the smartest man in town. This guy might not be the smartest in town. This guy might not be the smartest in town. This guy might have a few screws loose. I think eating rats might have smoothed this I think eating rats might have smoothed this guy's brain down a bit. The gopher repellent we acquired in the mansion works just fine here. The gopher repellent we picked up in the mansion works just fine here. And in return, we get the cake, which of course contains the file we need to get rid of the idol. Okay. The gopher repellent we got... And in return, we get the cake, which of course contains the file we need to get the repellent we picked up in the mansion works just fine here. And in return, we get the cake, which, of course, contains the file we need to get the idol we need from the mansion. Unfortunately, after this... Okay. Unfortunately, Fester accosts Guybrush after this, demanding an explanation for all the things he's done. We can say it's not what it looks like all we want, because what it looks like is pretty much actually what we did. Either way, the governor intervenes and we finally get to meet the woman in charge. And Guybrush is, smitten and lost for words, to say the least. She does butter him up a bit to quite... she does butter him up a bit, to be fair.
Minkley.
Yeah.
I like how you remember one of the specific ones, Remolay.
With Guybrush distracted and Elaine off doing something else, Fester is then able to get the drop on us, taking Guybrush to the pier. Tying the idol to him, and, well... There are plenty of hints beforehand, though. For instance, Elaine mentions that he's a new sheriff, for example. The old one mysteriously... The previous sheriff mysteriously disappeared, according to Otis. And the fact that he had plans for the governor, it's all quite obvious in hindsight. I mean, hell, with the 2009 voice acting, Earl Bourne voices both LeChuck and Shinetop. You can't miss it. So where were we? Oh, right, drowning.
I think I have a live action take for that.
Tied down by the idol, Guybrush can't go far without being held back by the rope. The game cruelly tantalizes you here as well by having all manner of sharp objects surround you. If we could only just reach them. There's stuff like these guys on the pier as well to twist the knife further. God, no, I'm just tormenting myself. Let's cut this joke here. Oh, God.
I think this was a slight ad-lib, but I thought it was pretty good. Like, sort of just making jokes about knives and cutting, and I'm like, oh, God, no. I'm tormenting myself.
God. Let's cut this joke here. Oh, God.
You drowned the first time? Really?
To top it all off, your sword is confiscated here as well, if you have one at this point. You might be aware that LucasArts games tended not to have game overs in them once they hit the 90s. This is one exception.
It's one of those solutions that's like a bit too obvious, isn't it? But I think it's fine, because like they already kind of... You've already picked up that idol. There's no reason to suggest that it's too heavy, so you can just pick it up. I think it's just kind of like testing... testing how much you're paying attention, I guess. Like, some people just get the solution right away, and some people just... It seems too obvious, so it doesn't occur to them. So I can see how it could catch you out. When I watched Weird play it, he pretty much just got it immediately. Because he just like was just like, I guess, why don't I just try to pick this up? And it worked.
This is the one exception in this particular game. Was in them once they hit the 90s. This is one exception. Particular game. Earlier in the video, I brought your attention to... Earlier in the video, I highlighted Guybrush... Okay. Earlier in the video, I brought to... Okay.
Get it right, come on.
Earlier in the video, I brought your attention to Guybrush noting one of his special skills, as you may recall.
I actually have cut this bit out already. Here we go.
After expressing your piratey aspirations and your special skills,
I can hold my breath for 10 minutes.
Remember that.
There you go. And that's kind of like what I've got. Actually, I might need to tighten that up a bit. I can work on it. Oh, wow.
special skills, as you may recall. And if you actually wait 10 minutes down there, this is the one way Guybrush can die in the Monkey Island series. Well, there is that other thing later on, which doesn't really count. We'll get there eventually.
That's just me making a joke about how Guybrush dies in Tales of Monkey Island.
Once you get... Once Guybrush finally croaks it... Once Guybrush finally croaks it, the verb table actually changes too. It's just one of those extra amusing details that makes me love this game all the more. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Remember when games had hint books?
I like the joke I have here, because I have like, I kind of like to bring to the attention, like there's a one of the verbs changes into order hint book. And I kind of bring it to attention because, oh wow, remember when games had hint books? And then I just go, cuts to me like on camera going, I don't, because I was born in 1987. I don't know, I think it's a good joke.
In the end, how do you avoid death and actually get out of this watery grave? Believe it or not, it's really simple. We already picked up the idol earlier.
Oops.
We know we can pick it up. It's not heavy. We already picked up the idol earlier. It's heavy. Therefore, Guybrush can just pick it up and you can be on your way. The sharp objects, they're a red herring.
You get what I'm saying? They're a red herring. And then I do like a sort of,
oh, yeah. Oh.
I don't know which one of those takes I'll even use.
Sometimes Monkey Island will misdirect you on purpose. You've got to be prepared for that. It's not unreasonable, though. It gives you everything you need to figure out the answer yourself, but also trips you up and laughs at you in the process. Is that a satisfying way to build an adventure game? That's up to you, but I love it.
I think that's probably my... I'm really proud of the way I described Monkey Island as a series there.
It gives you everything you need to figure out the answer yourself, but also trips you up and laughs at you in the process.
Like, it gives you everything you need to figure it out, but it also messes with you. So...
Satisfying way to build an adventure game? Well, that's up to you. I love it. Satisfying way to build an adventure game? That's up to you, but I love it. After Guybrush frees himself from his bonds, he runs into Elaine on the pier, who discovers Guybrush is capable of using human words to communicate instead of the language of a cat laying on a keyboard. The two then realise that they have feelings for each other as the score sweeps up into this romantic ballad, and they come up with also... The two then realise they have... The two then realise they have feelings for each other as the score sweeps into a...
Come on, you can get this.
The two then realise that they have feelings for each other, and the score sweeps into this romantic ballad, and they come up with all manner of pet names with each other on the spot. I'm joking. Kinda.
That's because I do like a live action bit where I'm like, that's disgusting.
I always found it just a bit strange that Elaine would bother herself with Guybrush at all. But you kind of have to realise that she's always... I always found it a little bit strange... I always found it just a bit strange that Elaine would bother herself with Guybrush at all. But you kind of have to realise that she's always surrounded by pirates. This kid is pretty much the antithesis. This guy is pretty much the antithesis of a pirate. And this guy is pretty much the antithesis.
This is where I try to say a difficult word, antithesis. Antithesis is not an easy word to say in voiceovers.
And this guy is pretty much the direct opposite of a pirate.
So I changed it to direct opposite, because it means the same thing. Sometimes when you're writing, you don't think about actually saying those words, and then you go to say them and you're like, why did I write this? Secretions of Monkey Island, indeed. I'm just cutting out voice lines right now, Clapstool. How are you doing?
Even if he wants to be one for some reason. I think it's the fact that Guybrush is very much not a pirate that draws Elaine in. Although I do think that Guybrush is implied to be around maybe 17 in this game. And she's an elected...
This is something that kind of like is a little bit concerning as well.
And she's an elected official, a politician. So probably a fair few years older. Now, I'm not trying to imply anything here, but... Regardless, Elaine stops Guybrush and encourages him to finish the 3 trials before they, hook up.
Alright. And that's that block finished. We only have one more block of, In this game, Elaine calls Guybrush Plunder Bunny. Something... You say that, Remolay, but actually, if you... You are right, but actually, if you look at the poster of Elaine, after that scene, Guybrush will say something like, that's my Plunder Bunny. So, it actually... Guybrush actually does use it for her in this game as well. I didn't actually know that myself until I watched Wade play it, because I didn't realize you could... The poster would... there'd be a different line for the poster. Afterwards. It's so interesting when you watch other people play adventure games that you've played like a million times, because they'll like click on things that you never even thought to click on before. Like after a certain thing happens, and then they'll go, I wonder if there's a different line here. And I'm like, I didn't consider that it could even be a different line there. And sometimes it is. Then it's something you've never come across before. Like, I'm always learning new things about Secret of Monkey Island, despite the fact that I've played it so many times. I think because I've played it so many times, it's like I don't even bother to look for new things in it. So it's always interesting to see other people play it and just discover.
All this excitement, and I forgot about the trials. All this excitement, and I forgot about the trials, actually. So back to the task at hand, we now have our idol. Which means... There's
a bit of a break there.
So back to the task at hand, we now have our idol. Which means we have one trial remaining before we officially become a pirate. So let's go treasure hunting. Which means we only have one trial remaining before we can officially become a pirate. So let's go a treasure hunting.
Oh yeah, that's much better actually.
Every good treasure hunter needs a shovel. Every good treasure hunter needs a shovel. And much like the sword, we can get one of those from the shopkeeper. You may also remember the shifty-looking man willing to sell us a map in town. This is what will direct us to our treasure. This is what we'll need here to find our treasure. This is what we'll need here to find our treasure.
Alright, once I've finished cutting up this block, I'm gonna end the stream, I think.
Pay him the money, get the map, and hey, wait a minute, these are just dance instructions.
Just because, this is something that needs, me to not get distracted so I can get through it, so...
Pay him the money, get the map, and hey, wait a minute, these are just dance instructions.
Actually, which of these 2 takes is better? Let's have a think here.
Pay him the money, get the map, and hey, wait a minute, these are just dance instructions. Pay him the money, get the map, and hey, wait a minute, these are just dance instructions.
I think the first one's better, actually. It's quite often the case that the first take's better.
Pay him the money, get the map, and hey, wait a minute, these are just dance instructions.
That's your third take.
Pay him the money, get the map, and hey, wait a minute, these are just dance instructions. Pay him the money, get the map, and hey, wait a minute, these are just dance instructions.
Actually, I think the third one's better. Well, what do you know?
Pay him the money, get the map,
There's another one. Oh, wow.
Pay him the money, get the map, and hey, wait a minute, these are just dance instructions.
Yeah, whatever.
These are the directions. These are the directions. They're mostly straightforward, but back up... Okay. They're mostly straightforward, but back here actually means up. It doesn't tell you that. You can then make your way through the forest using dance moves and find the treasure in no time. Probably the simplest trial. Probably the simplest trial. I do want to mention one random side note about the forest, though.
This is where I talk about the stump, I think.
Because I probably won't find any other relevant place to mention this. In earlier versions of the game, there was a tree stump, which would prompt the user to insert disc... Okay. In earlier versions of the game, there was a tree stump, which would prompt the user into... In earlier versions of the game, there was a tree stump, which would prompt the user to insert discs... Which would prompt the user to insert discs 22, 36, and 114. To which Guybrush responds that, obviously, as a result, he can't go that way.
And then I complete the rest of that anecdote on a camera, so it's not actually in the voiceover.
That didn't stop LucasArts from lampshading this whole situation later down the line, though. But once again, we'll get there in due time.
That's me referencing the Easter egg in Curse of Monkey Island, where you stick your head through like a hole in like a mausoleum, and you appear out of that stump in Monkey Island 1 with the Monkey Island 1 graphics. It's funny.
Oops. Anyway, once we dig up the lost treasure of Melee Island, it turns out to be another t-shirt. Huh. But that's it. That's all the proof we need. And we just need to get down to the scum bars so we can...
And that's when the ghost ship appears, taking Elaine away.
And we just need to get down to the scum bars so we can... I
don't know which one to do, so I'll cut both out, and then I'll decide when I'm actually putting it together.
The lookout comes down to tell us that Elaine has been kidnapped and taken to Monkey Island.
Oh no, how can she escape from Monkey Island?
And we need to do something about that, since nobody else here has the guts for it.
Is it making you want to play again? Yeah, when I mess up a line, I just kind of create a word salad. You should replay Secret Monkey Island. It's a great
Since
game.
nobody else here has the guts for it.
I'm glad I got you into adventure games. Word salad is a hell the way out. I think more people should be into adventure games. I think more people can be into adventure games as well, because a lot of people will say, I don't have the mind for those games. I just get frustrated. I'm like, no, you can do it. Just have a think about it.
Also, LeChuck leaves a ransom note. Well, at least he's polite about it. 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 At least he's polite about it. Well, at least he's polite about it. Well, at least he's polite about it.
That one's probably the best take of those.
Oh, and before I forget to mention it, if there's one gag I love in this series, it's the overuse of trademark symbols. It's obnoxious in the most hilarious of ways, and you see it whenever anyone mentions Monkey Island. There's an area of the map you may have come across at this point which hasn't had any use as of yet, which is Stan's previously owned vessels. If you go there before completing the trials, there's not a lot going on there. Afterwards, however, the used vessel salesman Stan shows up to peddle his wares to you.
How long have we been going?
And Stan is...
Damn, 2 hours and 16 minutes. It does not feel that long.
And Stan is pretty much taking a used car salesman character and pushing him to the nth degree. God, I love him. God, I love him. This is the alpha salesman right here. The eye-catching coat, the wild, ever-present and off-kilter gesticulations, the smooth voice. This guy has it all.
Yeah, I think the GK remake might have lost a bit of a... It wasn't like a high-budget remake by any means. Like, I think the remake was actually lower budget than the original game. Which says a lot. I think it's fine, but, like, yeah, it without, like, the original cast... and that sort of the pixel art atmosphere, I do think it does lose a little something. It's still worth playing because it adds some new stuff to it as well. I feel like they should have added a scene from the novel, actually. There's a part in the novel where, like, it's during Gabriel's trip to Castle Ritter, and he has like a vision or something where he talks to like his late grandfather about like his destiny and stuff, and it's like a really like sort of emotional moment, and like I really liked that moment in the novel, and I was like, it caught me off guard because it's something that's not in the game, but it's like a really like sort of sweet moment in the book. And I was hoping they'd added that scene in the remake, but they didn't, which is disappointing.
He could sell your own house back to you, and you do it with a smile. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration. All in all, Stan is actually a little bit pathetic. He's more of a wacky inflatable tube man than a pro salesman. But I adore him. He's a very fun character, and it's a delight whenever he turns up.
It's one of my best pieces of wordplay.
We stand Stan.
We stand Stan.
We stand Stan. Oh, we stand Stan. We stand Stan. The pattern of the coat is also...
Do any of you in the chat actually know what Stan's full name is in the Monkey Island series? Because his full name is amazing. His full name is Stan S. Stanman. Yep. Smiling Stan S. Stanman. Like, what a name.
Mesmerizing. The pattern of the coat is also mesmerizing. I can't look away. It stays the same, however you look at him, and just... Oh, dude.
You ended up getting the Stan Isle animation in RuneScape. Is that a thing in RuneScape? I didn't even know
Stan
that.
is willing to sell us a ship, but we don't have nearly enough cash to pay for it.
I had no idea that was the thing.
We can get credit from the shopkeeper, but we need a job for that, and Guybrush is woefully unemployed.
The thing he does with his arms, yeah. That's cool.
I don't necessarily think... I'm not sure pirate counts as a career path.
The only other Stan reference that I know of in games is there's one in the roguelike Dungeons of Dreadmore. Is it Brax? Okay, yeah. It's a small sprite, but you can see this guy is like, this guy is a reference to Stan. He's like a little, he's a demon, but he does the same effect on his coat that Stan has. And I think is the theme is like, the theme sounds a little bit like Stan's theme as well. Dreadmore shop. Scob. Oh, here we go. I get this sounds like a little bit like a Stan's theme in some ways. So that's the only other Stan reference that I am aware of in other games. I have 2 notifications. What are they? Someone liked my reply. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's finish cutting this up. The creators of RuneScape are actually really into Monkey Island and other adventure games. I did not know that.
The shopkeeper keeps his credit slip in this vault, see? And you gain access whenever you send... And you can gain access to it whenever you send him on a trip to see Carla. But we'll need to learn the combination first.
There's an island named Ape Atoll during one of the quests. Ah. That's neat.
But we'll need to learn the combination for that safe, so tell the shopkeeper we have a job and that we want credit. Pay very close attention to the... Pay very close attention to the combination on the safe and maybe write it down. It's different every time you play. When he leaves again, grab the credit and hightail it out of there.
The computer's whirring in the background for some reason.
Again, grab the credit and hightail it out of there. This credit can only get you so far at Stan, so just haggle him out of a few extras and he's willing to hand it over. He also gives you some leaflets about various things such as navigation and a magnetic compass. Handy. Handy. You need 3 people to join you overall, 2 of whom we've already met in our adventure in the 3 trials.
Yep.
Carla is a fiercely competent fighter, so naturally she'd be an asset to the team. And she's easy to convince. Just tell her the governor is in danger and she's in. That leaves us with 2 others to find. The men of low moral fibre are too cowardly to join you, and the chef is too busy crying alone, so the next option is Otis, who is still in jail. How, you may ask? Well, you toss some grog from the scum bar in the lock. Grog steadily melts through the...
I like the grog puzzle, actually.
Grog steadily melts through the metal cups Grog steadily melts through the metal cups, though, because it's such a vile, caustic substance. So you have to transfer your grog between a few mugs to make sure you don't lose it.
Nearly impossible in SE. Yeah, it's much more difficult than it needs to be in the special edition. I remember the first time I played, which was on the special edition, I actually switched over to the original graphics to do it. Like, it's so needlessly annoying. Like, with the original one, you can just kind of, like, drag one at the other, and you're like, alright, pour that into there, pour that into there, pour that into there, and we're done. But yeah, I had trouble with it in the special edition for sure.
A puzzle and pretty logical. Even if it's something you overlook, it seems obvious in hindsight, which is a sign of a good puzzle, I think.
I would stand by that, yeah. I think, like, a puzzle... Actually, I think I mentioned that here.
A good puzzle should make you think, I should have thought of that, rather than, how could I possibly have thought of that?
Yeah, that's pretty much the baseline with whether or not a puzzle is good design, I think. You should think, oh right, yeah, that's obvious, rather than what? Why? Even though a lot of the games that I love have the sort of what why puzzles, I don't know. You may be wondering, a lot of adventure games that I love don't necessarily have good design. That's kind of just a thing. Wondering how you could possibly know what. You may be wondering how you could possibly even know to use Grog in the first place. Well, early on in the game, you can actually ask the pirate leaders what's in the grog. This is how I bring up the grog ingredients joke. See, I think it's the pepperoni that does it in the end. Pepperoni has always been known to break other people out of jail. I mean, have you played Lego Island? After freeing Otis, he pretty much just blows us off. Our last would-be crewman is a character we have... Our last would-be crewman is a character we haven't technically met yet. You can meet Hook before you recruit him as a crew member, but he isn't essential for any puzzles. You might have noticed an island across a zip line at some point. And remember that rubber chicken? And remember that rubber chicken we picked up? And remember that rubber chicken we picked up at the voodoo lady's place? The one with the pulley in the middle? This is actually what you use here to head across to his house. Rubber chicken with a pulley in the middle. This is actually what you use here to head across to this house. This is actually what you use here to head across to his house. Yeah, that one's fine. You can head there. You can actually head there during the 3 trials, but you can't really do a lot else there. But this is where we'll find our 3rd crew member. This is Meat Hook. I like Meat Hook. And despite his rather threatening name and the fact that he has hooks for hands, he's actually quite pleasant. This is Meat Hook, and despite his rather threatening name and the fact that he has hooks for hands, he's actually quite pleasant. That's actually a better take, I think. I'll go with that. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Those, yeps are, reacting to something weird he does, I think, so. Yep. I'll just leave those for now and let those... I'll choose which one when I get to that. In order to get Meat Hook to join you, he tasks you with facing a horrible beast. In order to get Meat Hook to join you, he tasks you with facing a horrible beast. After unleashing it from behind several doors, Guybrush stares into the eyes of a horrific creature hell-bent on destruction and... Oh, it's a parrot. Yep. I actually really love how this sequence looks with the 256 colour graphics. The realism and the reflection in Guybrush's eyes really create a moment of true tension here, and then the rug is pulled out from under you as we find out the truth. It's great. I actually really like this delivery. Oh, it's a parrot. Guybrush stares into the eyes of a horrific creature hell-bent on destruction and... Oh, it's a parrot. Because that's exactly the kind of tone that is in the game. It's like this really tense, spooky moment, and it's just, oh, it's a parrot. Okay. I'll show you where I put it. Oh, where would it be? It would be here. Here we go. It's this moment.
Okay, go ahead. If you've got the guts. Ah! I don't believe it. You are a brave man after all.
Nice John Madden. God, I love that John Madden jump scare. Oh. I remember using that John Madden jump scare in one of my earlier videos. I think it's in my Zoombeanies one. This is actually why I prefer these graphics to the special edition. I feel like with that style, I lose the Okay, there we go. I accidentally unplugged my mic there.
I feel like with that style, you lose the... This is actually part of why I prefer these graphics to the special edition. I feel like with that style, you lose that juxtaposition between realism and silliness. And with Guybrush's display of bravery, Meat Hook is willing to join the crew.
Right, we're nearly there with this.
With all three crew members recruited and a ship procured, it's time to finally... With all three crew members recruited and a ship procured, it's time to leave. With all three crew members recruited and a ship procured, it's time to set sail for Monkey Island. It's time to finally leave Melee Island. But not before Stan changes his mind. But not before Stan changes his mind and tries to take back the ship until...
That's when the mast falls off.
Slimeball.
And he goes, actually, you know what? You can have it.
The three recruits, including Otis, turn up at this point and start asking questions. It soon becomes clear that Guybrush might just be out of his luck. Okay. It soon becomes clear that Guybrush might just be out of his depth as a ship's captain.
And that is the end of part 1. All right. That's where I think I'm going to leave this today. We've cut out all the sort of voice lines for part 1, which means I can just start filling them in bit by bit. I'll be continuing editing off stream. Actually, this is a good bit. I completely forgot about this. I just clicked on this randomly. This is a bit where I managed to get my cat in the video.
Basically, you have to be like my cat.
Hold on, I think you need a bit more context.
This time window is actually quite short, so as soon as you hear the door open and he arrives on the left side of the screen, you need to book it to the door as fast as possible. Basically, you have to be like my cat Rosie as soon as I open my bedroom door. Bless her. Once you make it in...
That's one bit of the video. She makes a little murp. Alright. Thanks everyone for coming in today. Let me just switch over to this. Hello everybody. How is it going? I'm just gonna... Doesn't look like there's a huge amount of people to send a raid over with, but either way I will do that. Let's just... Oceans is still going. So I'll send you guys over to Oceans, who is doing some CSGO. Okay. Cool. Alright. Rated phrase will be Rush B because he's playing CSGO. So just type Rush and then B, and then the letter B. So, yeah, we'll send the people over to Oceans. Thanks for coming along, and I am excited for you guys to see this video when it's done. My next stream should be Tuesday, by the way. I'll be doing some more Resident Evil HD, where I'll be killing spiders and probably, you know, among other things. All right, let's go.